because they're going to find it, I'm pretty sure.
Every week I have to watch it twice.
I always go to the last 2 minutes and go, okay, now pay attention this time.
Yeah.
Don't get so distracted.
Don't fall asleep.
All right. Here we go. We're only 2 minutes in. That's fine. Welcome to the Elk Season Podcast, Season 2, Episode 8? 9?
8. Sorry, I put up one too many fingers.
Oh, yeah, you did. Episode 8. We are the Chambers Brothers. My name is Harold.
I'm David.
And today on the Elk Season Podcast,
we have a couple of elk stories. We have some predator stories, lots of mountain lion. We're probably going to take a literal trip, it feels like, up to the Wood River Valley.
Yeah.
Might have, I don't know how it's going to go, but I've conjured up a taste test live during this episode, so we'll see how it goes. A backpacking food item I found at Cabela's.
Oh, right. Really?
So, yeah.
You went to Cabela's?
Yeah.
Up in Boise?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What inspired you to do that? That's a cool place. It's like a museum.
I just like going there.
Yeah, you could go all day. I mean, you could spend all day. How are you so lucky you go to Boise that you get to spend time at Cabela's?
Well, we couldn't check into our hotel until a certain time, and I'm like, we could just go to Cabela's, look at the fish.
Did you go up there for a hockey game? No, you didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did you?
We went up for a hockey game. We stayed over as a family, and
oh, cool.
Yeah, so we were just a couple blocks away from the arena when we checked in, but
yeah.
It was really cool. It just and a great game too. So right about the time, and not that we're still doing the intro here.
Yeah.
But we're already having. It's been 2 weeks, so give us a break. We're catching up live. We could have done it before we hit record, but no, we're doing it now.
We did, yeah.
We got up there. We're getting into the game. It's a lot of fun. Right about the time, Bram. I think it's in the second period. Bram's like, so. Is this all hockey is? Because it was an exciting game, but it wasn't really that exciting. And right as he goes, Dad, what is there anything else that happens in hockey that makes it more fun? And like you couldn't have scripted this better. Right as he said that, we're about 10 rows up from the ice. We're right there down on the floor. And it was $20 a ticket.
Wow.
I mean, it's so inexpensive. And steelheads always do really, really well. So we're sitting here at their goalie, they're at their end of their defense, and so they're down there, and a fight breaks out right there in front of us, right as he asked that, and it was a good fight, and so it didn't take him any time after that we're walking to the hotel room after that, like, so there was that fight that happened there, and there was the fight that happened at the far end, and there was the fight that happened, and all these. So he's just like,
so he gets hockey.
He gets it.
That's
now.
what hockey's about.
So it was good,
right?
And even Xandrick, who's 7, was sort of into it. I was a little worried for him, but yeah, everybody did well. Great game. I wish I had more time to go up there and do that. But yeah, we got up there and went to Cabela's because I'm always thinking gear. Always.
Yeah. So, and so we have some gear. I brought some pictures of gear.
Yeah, we have
look interesting.
Conversations about gear, conversations about food, and then I have an announcement about next week.
Okay.
And so that we'll get into a little bit later. But
okay.
Anyway, we're trying to finish the intro. And
sure.
So, what else do I have to say in the intro?
Water everywhere. That is the number one conservation story in the Western United States. If you talk to anybody, it's got to be the water.
Yeah.
What last year was the lack of.
And now
the concern for
how many atmospheric rivers have come through California to just hit the entire.
And it's really
48.
It has hit Reno. The storms that come through Reno come through Twin Falls. Usually come Reno to Yellowstone is usually the track that I see storms follow. But the storms that hit the Rockies have to go over the southern Sierra Nevadas.
Yeah.
And over Las Vegas and over Utah and then into the Colorado Rockies, which that atmospheric river has been wide open. And that is the Colorado River Basin. I just so happen to have read a book called The Emerald Mile. Okay. And the Emerald Mile is a story of the fastest trip through the center of the Grand Canyon on the Colorado River. And experienced guides knew that there was this mark of time that they wanted to hit. Yeah. And it's days. I mean, it's days. And they knew what it was going to take to beat the record.
Okay.
And it was going to take a flood.
Oh.
It was going to take a big flood. And they were waiting for that flood to come. And in 1983, it happened.
Oh, yeah.
And the story, the story of the Emerald Mile is a biography of the 3 men that were in that boat. that went down the Colorado. It's a biography of that boat. It's a biography of the Colorado River itself.
Okay.
And even snippets of John Wesley Powell, and who was the first person to ever explore the Colorado River. And it's a really great look at the dam and a biography of a dam.
Interesting.
The Grand Coulee Dam that holds back Lake Powell.
Yeah.
They held back I think 30,000 acre feet of water with 4x8 sheets of plywood they got at the Home Depot. I mean, it was that serious of a flood because in the flood stage of a dam, there's a dam and then there's a roadway above the dam, and then there's a spillway underneath the road. And they knew if it spilled over that, it would be putting too much water in the Colorado, and they had to hire every welder they could find to come and sit underneath that roadway and weld brackets for the plywood.
Wow.
And you can go online and you can look and you can see the brackets for that plywood, and how it's such an unbelievably great story. It's such a great story. I've read the book
Hopefully
twice.
we can fill those basins back up a little bit this year. In California, something I've learned in the last week is that there was what they considered the largest freshwater lake in one of the basins in California. And they dug canals and drained the lake. Well, anytime you have epic water events, which happen every so often, and when you said 1983, that was one of the last times that this happened. And it's happening now, where this lake basin is filling because they have to divert water for flood reasons. And so it's kind of sad because you look out there, and I don't know that there's any homesteads, but there's shops and there's development in this lake bed. But I think anybody that develops in that lake bed has to, and farmers ranch and farm rather, farmers farm in that lake bed soil, and what did the guy say in the video I was watching? He was saying, this is not going to go away soon. We're thinking September before this is all cleared up. I mean, so it's that much water.
This story right now, the story is snow, but very soon. And looking at the forecast, one of the hallmarks of 1983, and if you think back to one of the hallmarks of the 2017 snowpocalypse that we had here in Twin Falls, was that the deep snow was followed by high temps. So when it snowed a bunch this year, it wasn't that bad because it slowly melted. We didn't have really high temps, but we got plenty of snow. In 1983, the snow hit at the end of April and into May. And all of a sudden, when high temperatures came, there was no reprieve. It was absolutely brutal.
It makes me worried about this year because right now we're getting hit in the mountains.
You look at the 2-week forecast, and still overnight lows are below freezing every single night in the valley. So, and we're already into March. So, in fact, April 1st into April, we still have lows below freezing.
I will say this though, my garlic probably loves this. My garlic is already shooting up above I've got garlic shoots. I'm so excited for this. I also have barriers in place to keep these rodents out of my garden this year. I'm gonna have a good garden, but the garlic's coming up, and I know that seems like a bit of a side shoot, but you know what? Side shoot. Anyway, so. But no, it's lots of water. Excited to get up and see when the weather breaks and the snow melts a little bit, to get up into the hills and go take a look around.
And I'm seeing lots of guys on TikTok for now. I'm seeing lots of guys on TikTok shed hunting, and they're showing the bases are red. Right. It is shed time right now.
Shed time.
So. And it's going to be tough to get out. It's just going to be tough to get out.
If the weather is clear, the roads are going to be muddy. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just not worth it. You get too far in, and the mud in the South Hills especially is super nasty.
Should we just get into this real quick?
Yeah, what you got? What is that?
So this is a brand I've seen them before, and they're here locally, so you don't have to go to Cabela's to get them. But I saw it at Cabela's. I'm like, put it in the cart, So I've got a few things. And this is a ready-to-eat sandwiches, right? So it's not a rehydrate situation.
Okay. What is that? What is a MRE? Meals ready to eat.
Yeah, it's
an MRE stands for meals ready to eat.
So this is Italian sausage with sauce sandwiches. So and I haven't even opened this yet. And so there's 2 ways that it says you could have them.
Okay.
And I looked over. There's a few different brands of freeze dried stuff, and I just like I don't know. Anyway, this doesn't look appetizing at all. I'm gonna be honest. Like first impression, I'm just like, I'm only doing this because I'd rather not be in the field next time to actually field test something. We field tested literally that stuff from Walmart. Yes. I'd rather not have that happen again.
Yeah,
but
well, show it to the.
It could be good fodder for our stuff. Right?
There we go.
So
you know what? Spam. Spam's ready to eat. Spam singles are ready to eat. So, and I'm surprised at the reactions I get from people when I go, yeah, I got a spam single. You want to try one? Well, I guess. Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, I think a couple of things, if we can, that we talk about all the time, is like the economics of it.
Totally.
Like much more
big time.
Much less expensive.
Yeah.
And this right here, I would even say is like, this was $6.
Okay. For 2 sandwiches. Now, there's 2 ways to eat the 2 sandwiches.
And they are MRE
Totally
based.
MRE. Oh
totally
my gosh.
MRE.
Yeah. So they repackaged government stuff and jacked up the price.
Gosh.
They bought pallets of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So you know what? I already like it.
But
I already like it.
Well, but it's not. It has their brand. They were able to come in and stamp their brand on it.
Okay, good. Good.
But it does have that U.S. stamp.
There are some MREs that are like, oh, solid gold, man. High in sodium.
When we were up in, I can't remember where it was, but I had some chicken noodle soup still.
Was that Nevada?
No. When we were up Labor Day weekend last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
I was like, oh my gosh, it just hit the spot. It was a long, hot day. I still had that stupid cough.
Yeah.
And that cough has shown back up in the valley. I had a couple people at work with it last week.
Oh, really?
And I was like, wow, you sound like I sounded like when I was trying to elk hunt last year.
I think my wife has that right now.
It's annoying.
Yeah. But the issue I have, I would eat nothing but MREs, but then I'm just packing in water.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, you're already packing in water, though. I mean, you with the
a
stuff that
bit.
you bring, the cheese and the mayo and the sour cream and the avocados and the fresh tomatoes and the lettuce and all of the fixins,
But the 2 cups of potatoes, I mean, there's 2 cups of water to those potatoes, and that's a lot of woo. That's just a good background.
First click.
That's just good background noise. My clicker doesn't work anymore.
Don't say that on the air.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's such an old. I have
like first gen.
I have really
beta.
First gen. Yeah, I really have old Jetboil, and so I can always flex on other guys. Oh yeah, you're just getting started, huh?
Right.
All right, young fella. Well, try to keep up.
I do like your little knob better than my little wire. I was messing with my wire getting this set up today, but it just says, "Hey, you can eat it as is." Obviously.
Yeah.
If you're desperate, but I'm like, I got a Jetboil. We can have some background noise and add a little different element to this. So, hey, look, there's even microwave instructions.
Oh, great.
For those of you
who rifle hunt.
Yeah. Beat me to it. Or a toaster oven.
Oh, yeah.
Toaster oven or microwave for those of you.
What's it? Give me the nutrition facts.
So, serving size is one of these, 330 calories.
That's pretty good. That's pretty solid.
What else do you want to know? What specifics?
Protein?
10 grams.
Not bad. Not bad. Fat?
Saturated?
Just fat. Total fat.
Total fat. 18.
18. Wow. That's pretty good. Fat's a great preservative. It's a great energy source. If you're packing, this is why I like spam singles.
Yeah.
Because they're high in fat, and that's a concentrated energy source to be packing around. So, and then how many carbs?
Carbs.
30. Tell me it's 30. 25?
My old man eyes here. 13.
13. Ooh, okay. So that's like a protein bar.
Yeah.
Protein bar. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Great.
So
it's a high-fat protein bar.
We're not going to open both of them, but
okay.
If it's good enough warm, you can imagine what would it be like cold. And if you were in a desperate situation, you're not going to care. But since we had the option,
that's funny that it's ready to eat meals, and I made the MRE connection right before you opened it. Did you know there were MREs inside?
I didn't.
Okay.
I'd never opened them, and I didn't inspect it that close because I'm like, just let's have some fun with it.
So I am binge watching Alone. I watched a few episodes when I went to Cancun last week. I watched a few episodes of Alone on the plane. And so I thought, oh, I gotta find more episodes of that show, and I forgot they were on Hulu. So I started watching season 1 on Hulu. I haven't seen season 1. I think I've seen a couple different seasons of Alone on Netflix.
Got a lot of expensive gear. I'm spitting water everywhere.
Are you familiar with Alone, with the premise?
No. Yes, we've talked a little bit about it.
They take 10 people and they put them in the wilderness to survive on their own, alone.
Oh no.
And in the very first season, they go to North Vancouver Island. So it's tropical. It is tropical. No, is it tropical? No, it's a rainforest. It's not a tropical rainforest. It's just a rainforest. Big difference. Definitely not tropical. Cancun, that was tropical. So they put them on there, and there are 7,000 bears on the island, 1,000 mountain lions, and 200 wolves. And
no prey, except for the human.
well, so there was a mountain lion attack just a few days before, but there's a lot of really close encounters really early on in the first few episodes. A lot of close encounters.
Yeah,
and then no more.
Huh?
It's like, oh, we learned those smells.
Yeah,
we're keeping our distance.
Yeah.
But 3 guys in the first 4 or 5 days, like, it's not worth my life. I am out of here.
Yeah.
And they're really, I just saw it as curious animals. I did not see it as threatening at all. I'm not saying I wouldn't be scared, because that one night I went for water and I could hear the wolves.
Yeah.
I was a little wigged out. But these guys are straight up, nope, not worth my life. I'm going to tap out. But I do find it fun, because these people, they have to get all the foods on their own. If you fish, if you scrounge, and they're eating kelp and and tiny little mussels.
The first part of the first episode.
Oh jeez. Oh man, it's not, the irony is not lost on me when I'm eating and watching that show.
Yeah.
Like, man. And the whole time I'm shoveling food in my face, I'm like, yeah, I could do way better than those guys.
Yeah. It's interesting to see it. I do feel like, producers are always going to find those extremes,
of course,
on both ends. But I often wonder the same thing,
Yeah,
I could probably do better.
Yeah, well, 4 or 5 days. We go out for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And I need a lot of specialized equipment.
Yeah.
But once you're there and you set up, anyways, it's a fun thought experiment.
Yeah.
To go, yeah, I could do that. But these guys are going in there for 30 days. They're at over 30 days now, and they're eating mice, right? And so it's really interesting. There's again, they all have cameras, and they're always talking to the cameras and talking about, I miss my family. And you can all psychologically, you can see, oh, this guy's gonna tap out. He is 5 minutes from calling the guys and saying, I'm done. And it's when he starts talking about missing their family, and I don't know how they're gonna do it without me, and something inside them just breaks down, and they call.
Yeah.
And
wow.
it's interesting to see. And I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know when that moment would happen for me, because I worry about my kids a lot.
Yeah. And
I think, oh, the wife's got them, if we don't miss this day or that day. But 30 days, 45 days. And they actually, I think season 7, I watched, 3 episodes of season 7, which was 10 experts for 100 days.
Jeez.
You have to stay in there for 100 days. Could and would my family survive without me for 100 days? Of course.
Yeah.
Would they miss me and be traumatized by my absence? Probably.
So, do you think it's been like 5 or 6 minutes?
Oh, who knows?
Let's just figure this out. I didn't pay attention to where we started on the clock, but the idea is just get it a little bit warmer. Yeah. That way I can turn and face the camera, and we can get back to things here.
Yeah.
Whew.
Love that jet boil.
I'm gonna have to get a. I've got a table.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Love this little stool.
So MREs, there is a.
nice and hot.
Yeah. There is a Army surplus store on the way to just outside of Idaho Falls.
Yeah, I stop in there.
And they have I don't know what you call them, pallets, like those big cardboard watermelon boxes. Look at that sandwich. Show it. Show the camera. Look at that.
Yeah, it's like a glorified toaster pastry, but it's got sausage in
meat
it.
inside. Yeah, I'm telling you, the MREs aren't bad. MREs aren't bad. Ooh, it's kind of warm. Not in the middle, but
That's kind of. I think we were a little shy on a couple minutes, but I wanted to get things.
that's all right. That
rolling.
bread is warm. That's
It's
nice.
much more soft than I was expecting it to be. The bread.
Yeah, because we've had a few MREs and some of those crackers
Yeah.
that they have is like.
But there are some MREs. I still actually have some hash browns, but that's my least favorite one. I bought a whole bunch of them back in the day, and I only have one left.
What is it?
A bunch of MRE meals, the entrees.
Hash browns?
Yeah, hash browns and bacon.
Really?
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
that sounds pretty good. Okay.
But I bought a whole bunch of these meals back in 2013, and 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and now I just have one left. I go through them pretty slow.
Well, they last forever. All right.
All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's see. What do you got?
You know, as you hear my chewing sounds, and if you suffer from misophonia, which is a hate for mouth noises, particularly.
Yeah.
You're not loving this podcast if you're listening.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
But this right here, I would not ever buy again. Like,
Dude, no way. It's sweet. You can taste the sweetness of the bread. This is right out of the grade school lunchroom. This is like a sloppy Joe. Like a sloppy Jimbo.
but it lacks a certain something that you and I have learned to develop on our own with these other things. You know, like out of my pack when I grabbed my jet boil, I found two bags of the Tyson chicken,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and that used by date was actually the same as this. Use it by 2025, so still got a couple years hanging out in
Wow.
my pack.
Wow. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I don't know either.
For spam, it's okay.
It's so when it comes to this, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just
Yeah.
the proportion of bread to internal meat is way disproportionate.
Yeah, it's a little off, but 300 calories and a few grams of protein. It's about the amount of energy that's put in there. That's pretty nice. I like it. I don't think I'd go out of my way to buy it. I don't know. I might buy a few. You keep them in there like.
Well, they have them at Sportsman's. They actually had a different variety at Sportsman's than they had at Cabela's.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, if I would have seen that, I would have bought that instead. But yeah, there's I might have overreacted a little bit at the beginning. I don't hate it. I don't love it. If I saw them on discount, I'd probably buy them.
Yeah. Yeah. The greatest. Hold on a second. It says my iPhone storage is full. Pause. All right. Now let's see. Where was I? I was getting a drink of water.
Getting a drink of water. So why don't we go? Why don't we start transitioning away from our lovely little snack here, and let me tell you about what's going on with me next week.
Okay.
And I've talked about this on the podcast before.
Okay.
I've lamented that I haven't been a good father about it. I've got 3 boys. Mm-hmm. They rarely ever go out with me hunting. One of them has this hunter's education. One of them is old enough and is interested. And so they've started to do combo courses for hunter's ed. So you get your bow and your rifle certification.
Yeah.
And so we are signed up for classes next week.
Okay.
All next week.
Okay.
So
Good.
they will be
Good.
They will be bow rifle hunter
Good.
certified in Idaho after the end of next week, providing we don't have any
fantastic.
hiccups or hurdles. So
That's good.
and at $10 a pop. Like talking about, spreading the joy of what we do and helping bring in a new generation into the fold and having it at such a discount. Now, there's actually 2 ways you can do this. Now, we chose the live instructor. That's the inexpensive one.
Oh, really?
You can do this online at your own pace
Yeah, I prefer a live instructor.
for $30 a pop.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that would be $60 for one kid to get both licenses if they needed it.
Oh, really?
So it's an online thing, and it looks like it's really professionally done, done really well. I watched a couple of the videos on the Idaho Fish and Game website.
Okay.
But when it came down to it, I'm like, well, we do have to travel to Buell next week. So every day I get off work, we just head straight out to Buell.
I love Buell.
And we'll Saturday will be the last day. So they're actually Wednesday is off, but then it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then done.
Wow. Oh, fun. Oh,
Yeah,
fun.
so
Oh, great.
It'll be a cool follow up story. Hopefully everything goes smoothly for everybody next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be the three of us.
Awesome.
Zandrick was kind of bummed because he's not old enough. But
okay.
Yeah. So
But your two oldest are gonna do it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you plan on bringing them hunting this fall?
I would love to. Need to get them some gear.
Okay.
So that's the other thing is I've got to be able to
Oh, bummer.
get them licensed and then figure out how to finance gear or something.
Great.
Maybe I could get another student loan or something.
They are students.
Right. So anyway, that's my big update for next week.
Awesome. Okay.
So I know that we haven't been off the last couple of weeks.
That's okay. We'll get caught up. We'll get caught up the week after.
But next week it's for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of stoked about it.
Yeah.
The timing is about right. I totally meant to do it this week if there was one available, and I forgot to look because that's what we did with Draven when he got his regular hunters.
Yeah.
But he'll kind of have to sit through everything again. But they said there's a 1 chapter difference.
Okay.
Between the two. And so it makes sense to just combine them and you get the whole certification.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited to see how
that's
looks.
awesome.
And
That's awesome.
$10.
Okay.
$10 to do that. And there were still 30 seats left in our class by the time out of 40.
Wow.
So there was only 10 signed up. So
Good. Okay.
hopefully they get some more. But excited to see what's new in Idaho and what's with Hunter's Ed and all that. So
Yeah.
I'll be happy to share anything that I learned that's new or if
I'm looking forward to your report already.
If there are any questions, don't hesitate to text me.
Yeah.
I'll just be sitting in,
Yeah, as you will see, as we talk this week, as you will see, we need future hunters.
Yeah.
There's all the stuff we got in Wood River Valley.
Yeah.
The predators. We need more. We need more
Active-
people, guys hunting predators.
Active management is supported by all of us, and it's not a what would I want to say? It's not an us versus you kind of thing. If you're against hunting,
Yeah.
because I think Mother Nature is much more cruel than what we're capable of helping regulate.
Yes.
So I think
and that is a topic we touch on whenever we can, and we will touch on it today.
yeah, and it's again to each their own. You don't have to like hunting.
Right.
But at the same time, to get too vile towards somebody who does isn't necessary. Not that
Yeah.
I've had any of that happen, but I have had people that we've come
Yeah.
across in the woods. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
hunters,
Yeah.
don't come near me."
I actually,
oh, dear.
somebody at the gym, we
Dear
were at
where?
the gym and somebody was talking about going duck hunting, and you're like, oh, you're killing those poor birds.
Oh,
But they're cat people.
yeah,
And I go, I just off the top of my head, I go, 4 billion songbirds in the U.S. die every year from domestic cats.
yeah.
And I'm glad I was so quick with it. I wasn't really thinking. But I'm glad everybody was on their little exercise bikes warming up. Nobody really heard me except the guy who had shot the ducks.
Yeah.
I go, right? You go, yeah, bring me some next time. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love it.
The Desert Cafe at CSI,
Yeah.
where the culinary arts students get to really hone their skills
Yeah.
with all the hospitality. So whether it's serving, taking orders, getting payment, or cooking, and so anyway, they had roast duck
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. It's so good.
Yeah.
I've had it anytime they have it. They've skipped it. It's like an every other year thing that they'll do. And the last time I had it was 2 years ago, and I just wanted it like every day of the week. It was done.
Will you tell me next time they do it?
Yeah.
I'll come down and have lunch
Yeah,
with you.
yeah.
That sounds really good.
See you in 2 years.
I'll be here.
Well, anytime they have an exotic animal, you want me to text you? So
Sure.
They'll do buffalo sometime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had buffalo over there.
Yeah. From all the books I've read from trappers and guys out west,
Yeah.
buffalo is the top of the food chain, top of
Yeah.
the meat flavor.
So
out west,
they've done elk. They've done
oh wow,
the duck, of course. They do a lot of exotic meats not a lot, but they do them. They throw them in rotation.
Yeah.
Good. And it's $13 or something like that. You get a 3-course meal and a drink. So it's good. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'll try to remember to hit you up. So they're done with this semester, so they won't be doing it again until the fall.
All right, well.
To everybody's lament, because everybody who eats there is like, you're gonna come back after spring break, right? And they're like, no, we're done for the semester. No. Everybody gets mad and throws hangry fits.
Really? They're done after spring break?
Well, they're done with the service portion.
Right.
There's other things. In fact, I kind of want to get into culinary arts because you know what they're doing next week?
Huh.
They're going to Vegas to research food to cook.
Oh, yeah.
Think about, I want that class. Hello.
Yes. I wish my bartender class did that.
I think my college advisor lied to me.
Yeah, there is a better way.
Anyway, let's see. Where do we want to start here? I'm going to
So
scroll through here.
we talked about the water, and we were talking about new hunters. Let's talk about predators. I know there's a lot of mountain lion stuff.
Well, yeah, we can start with the mountain lion. Let me go there. A couple of wolves. I forgot to mention wolves in the intro. That's what I forgot to finish up with. And wolverine, but we're not there yet.
The wolverine is a update.
Yeah,
it's an update story.
Mountain lions are showing up in quite a few places. When I lived in Pocatello, we got, I think, weekly, if not daily reminders sometime when the animals were active on campus.
Yeah.
And so mountain lions active in the Wood River Valley, and there's a picture of 2 of them sitting on a fence.
Yeah.
Ooh.
As the heavy snows are going to push a lot of animals down, predators are going to follow them, and mountain lions are no exception. So
they're very opportunistic animals, and so that's the thing about mountain lions. In fact, there's a lot of stories that have come out recently where like this mountain lion dragged a dog from somebody out in, I can't remember if it was Colorado or somewhere.
Wow.
Grabbed the dog and it's on the leash and drags it off.
Wow.
Like, it was kind of an insane story.
Yeah.
I'm not, but if
they're
I'm hungry,
and they are whatever's for dinner is for dinner. I mean, a lot of them out west, they prey on mule deer, but a meal is a meal.
Yeah. And when we went camping in that December and we had the cat tracks outside our tent, it made me thankful for that thin wall, because it's the cat is a predator. But I don't know if it was that same time, it was a different time, I think, where I had the flu and I couldn't tell. It was so cold that my body was just warm from flu, but I couldn't eat breakfast that morning. I'm like, why have I got zero appetite. Couldn't buy. And so it wasn't until I realized up top, I'm like, I'm just not feeling good. So I'm going to hike back down. And on my way back down, I kept stopping because I'm like, man, I just feel exhausted, and I'd fall asleep. And
while you're walking?
No, while I'd sit down to rest.
Oh, really?
On my way down. Like, I'm going downhill and I'm exhausted.
Wow.
And I need to take a break. And I'd sit down, within a minute, I'd fall asleep. So I'm like, there's something wrong with me. And then it wasn't until I got back to the tent and I was like, oh, that's the shivers. There's the flu.
Was that the one when we had the windstorm, wake up in the middle of the night and there's a windstorm and we got to pack out?
No, it was the different one. So, but no, I was worried because we had seen mountain lion up there, or evidence of and pictures of. Yeah. Last year we actually saw the darn thing. I was nervous because I'm like, if I fall asleep and this thing happens by, that's not good.
Yeah. Very opportunistic. Yeah.
So anyway, they're gorgeous animals, but they are, stare them down, don't run away, make noise. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I saw on Alone was the first few days, just these curious animals. And because I saw 3 episodes on the airplane of season 7, and these are really experienced outdoorsmen, and they know exactly how to condition. There's a guy that doesn't even have a bow, sees a bear, and he goes, I gotta go after him. Yeah. I gotta go and scare him right now, because I do not want him wandering around when I'm sleeping.
So, I saw a video earlier today of a guy, and this is not a cat, but it's a bear. A black bear comes onto their porch and then gets into their hot tub. And I was like, at first I'm like, okay, curiosity got me to click on this video. But then the audio's turned up, and he's sitting there like, this dumb bear is just here, and he's closing his door. And I'm like, no, you're doing the wrong thing. Yeah. And then it gets in the hot tub and just sits there. And I'm like, you need to get out there and scare the crap out of this thing.
Yeah, big time. As fast as you can.
Now it's been conditioned to go, hot tubs. Yeah. Your decks. Yeah. So, let's see. Fish and Game have received 85 calls about mountain lions, so just a lot of South Central Idaho calls. Mountain lion activity in McCall also continuing to be probably the likelihood of the snow pushing animals around, right?
Yeah. Now you told me before we went on that you got your sportsman's package.
Yes.
So you have your fishing and your hunting and your bow license, and you have all of your tags,
Yeah.
which are mountain lion, bear, wolf, elk, and deer, turkey, steelhead, and salmon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so black bear,
Okay.
mountain lion,
Okay.
turkey, which I would love to get a turkey.
Man.
Gray wolf,
Yeah.
and then I've got the, for the deer and the elk there. So, and then, fishing,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I
So
still haven't explored.
and again, that package costs less than $150.
Yeah, less than 130.
Which is insane compared to what out-of-staters have to pay.
Out-of-staters. I like
Out-of-stater taters later. But it's so amazing. And it's all part of managing the wildlife. And if we use hunting and manage the predator food sources, well, you need to do something to manage the predators as well, and that's where the bear and the lion and the wolf tag come in. So it is. I think it's told you it's been my goal to fill all 5 of those big game tags during September.
Yeah.
It would actually I should start with maybe if I could fill all 5 tags in a decade. But even in a year would be quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So look for that upcoming. Yeah.
I'm just throwing this out there because I think there's just one article on it. Shed hunting is underway, right? So a shed got caught on a tree.
Yeah. Just a cool photo I found online, and it's just woven into this cottonwood tree. Who knows how long it's been there?
Yeah,
because it's
I didn't even realize that it had been grown around.
Yeah, it has of course it's chalky white, but it wasn't on the ground and it wasn't in direct sunlight for very long. So,
and that's not I was thinking that was well, it's a mule deer, but it has a really interesting fork pattern.
Yeah,
because it's got the Y branch, and usually the Y branches have little Y branches.
Yeah.
But there's like another branch off the front of this thing that's stuck in the tree. The tree has grown around.
Oh.
Like it almost looks like an elk antler almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not. But anyway, that's just cool. It's just a cool thing. Let's talk wolves.
So those are some sheds. What do you have on wolves?
Well, independent record reporting 2022 gray wolf captured, fitted with GPS. Takes a long hike through Montana's spectacular wilderness, but has a fatal end. I don't know what the rest of the story is on that one, but one wolf's journey across southwest Montana leads to fatal end.
Is there another picture of words that have the rest of that story? Oh, dang it! I might have them somewhere, but
no.
I guess the whole idea is the huge range that these wolves have, and can go from pack to pack. Some of them can go from pack to pack. It's really dynamic. The wolf social structure is really, really dynamic.
Well, especially after we talked about the whole that infection possibly leading to that social dynamic as well.
Yes.
That was just amazing.
That's crazy.
Coyotes apparently being more aggressive here in the Magic Valley, which is
it's a story every February.
Yeah.
Early every year it's a story because it's the mating season and Fish and Game need to stay fresh to stay topical. And so they would just kind of reprint the same. Oh yeah, this is happening again. Let's keep the public aware. But it's one of those things where you might see coyotes coming onto your back porch. They're feeling frisky. And if you have dogs, hey,
yeah, coyotes are a bit odd. In my humble opinion.
Yeah.
A bit wily.
In the very good. In all the Western literature that I've read, a lot of the old trappers talk about how superstitious the Native American tribes were of the coyote. And not just one or two specific tribes. They all had a lot of superstitions about the coyote.
I have a documentary series, and one of the Native American stories, the tales they told, was about the connection of Native Americans to the living creatures, and I love those stories from the Native American culture where these are the personalities of the animals and things like that.
Yeah.
And one of them talks about the coyote, and you're not to trust the coyote because the coyote is a trickster.
Is a trickster, yeah.
So,
really superstitious like that. Yeah.
Back up in the Wood River Valley, there's been some issues related to deer and domestic dogs. And so apparently there's a dispute with deer being harassed by the dogs that are not on leashes or whatnot in the Wood River Valley. But off-leash dogs harass wildlife in the Wood River Valley. But I don't know. And I talked to you about before, and I'm a little concerned about this headline maybe being misleading, that maybe the deer were harassing the dogs. The dogs were just trying to, stand their ground. But it could go either way.
Okay.
I mean, maybe the dogs were harassing the deer first, but was anybody there? I mean, who really instigated it?
Oh, the dogs, for sure. Yeah,
trying to go anthropomorphic here.
I'm trying to keep up with you, but it's a tough one. That's a bit of a stretch. One of the things about living in the country is you don't leash up your dogs.
Yeah,
they go and run and do what they want.
When I worked at the animal shelter of the Wood River Valley, we'd take dogs on walks, and it wasn't. I think I did it once or twice, but I actually stopped the practice because I have a job to do, and I can't be chasing a dog all day. Yeah. And so, but a lot of people take the dogs up on the mountains behind and take the leash off.
Let them run.
Which is good for the dog. I don't want to argue that, but one time I was doing that and I didn't see deer in this little valley that I'm hiking up. And I let the dog off, and I thought I was never going to get this dog back. But anyway, luckily it was a fat.
But in the Wood River Valley, there's a lot of interface between the wilderness and people. It's just a place. Not a lot of people live there, but when they do, they have pets, and that interface. There's coyotes, there's wolves, there's elk, there's bear, there's moose. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the Wood River Valley.
Just throw that in there.
Yeah, why not?
Moose downtown, catch 'em.
Yeah,
wild moose chase.
Wild moose chase.
A moose is on the loose.
I've seen some incredible moose up there on that. What is that road?
Trail Creek.
Trail Creek Road.
Yeah.
Over the top. I actually have a video somewhere of them rutting towards each other.
Yeah.
There's a couple cows and there's a couple bulls, and the big bull he just looked irritated that this other bull. I mean, the bull was
right?
They were roughly the same size in body, but the antlers were dramatically different. And the bigger bull, in terms of antler, he's just like, could you just leave me alone? Like he's walking and he's getting harassed by, and so he'd turn around and he'd rack him a little bit, and then he'd go back over to his cows, and then he'd just right on his tail was this other bull, and it's just like, wow. But it was about 300 yards off the road from just driving out one time. It was great.
That's
Lots
crazy.
Cool
yeah.
See where
and that Trail Creek Road starts and or ends in downtown Ketchum.
Yeah. Follow up from a Wolverine story from last year. Tell me more.
Well, I talked about how Wolverines and how rare it is to see them, and I brought in a story that, hey, there's a Wolverine that they actually found in Utah. Now it's northern Utah and / southern Wyoming, the Uinta range. The Uinta range, most of it's in Utah, but the foothills of it sort of bleed off into Wyoming. But and of course, Wolverines are super high altitude, and really rare to see them. So it's just really cool that there was a Wolverine story from Utah. So this is a return, or this is an update of that Wolverine, because that Wolverine was caught and tagged, and tracked, and so there's a whole bunch of data coming in from this Wolverine.
When it comes to Forest Service employees, whatever state you're in. They're all divisions of the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, but I digress.
Obviously.
It's a job to go out and track these things.
Holy jeez.
And even with the sophisticated technology we have, it's still an uphill battle, I think, in a lot of ways. So being able to actually get data like that on that Wolverine or any animal is incredible because it just gives you better insights to what we're missing out on if we get rid of them or if we push something. All right, all this data that we could miss.
Yeah.
If we just do what almost happened in many ways, the wolf has to come back.
Yeah.
By our assistance.
Yeah.
And what could we have learned had we not been so gung ho in the first place? But now that they're here and they're doing things, we can just learn. What does a healthy ecosystem look like? What does a healthy pack look like? What does a healthy bear? Right, all this stuff. Those guys do a lot of great work in those the biologists for the fish and game departments. So thank you. If anybody in those fields should happen to hear it, thank you.
Indeed. Thank you.
Let's see. Kind of got
you know what really sounds like a bummer is like counting elk. Like, it sounds like fun. Like I want to go watch the elk, but no, you got to count them. Get in the plane. I mean, that's a job.
Yeah.
You spend. I did Boise traffic from a plane. For just a couple days, and I really loved it. But you thought, oh, geez, if I had to do this every day,
that's a lot.
It's a lot of time in a little tiny plane.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we talked about my tags, and I should have thrown this out there, but leftover tags in the Arizona Game and Fish Department of Wildlife and Parks.
Yeah.
Applicants will be accepted by mail through 8 Monday, March 2/7.
So there are some places where not all the tags are filled, and not all the tags were purchased. So there is still room out there, even in Arizona.
Yeah, and do I remember the history books right? They transplanted Roosevelt elk in Arizona.
I do not know. That is a good question. They certainly do have gigantic antlers like the Roosevelt do.
Yeah,
but there has to have been some native elk in there too.
Well, I understood that most of the populations went dry because of overhunting.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Arizona's a big place. Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, those four corners, man. There's a lot of space down there. A whole lot of empty nothing space.
So Mother Nature is cruel. And they're terribly cruel.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about cruelty of Mother Nature. We're going to talk about gear, and then we're going to talk about water, and then we're going to talk about the pristineness. That's not the right word.
Okay.
But it's the quote you like. I think is a good ending point.
Okay.
So let's start with this fortunate elk saved after falling into a surface fracture. And I'm not sure where that's at.
Absolutely crazy. I just couldn't believe that elk lived. Look at this picture. Go to the YouTube. Look at this picture. This elk survived.
This elk looks like it is dead, and it's just laying there dead.
It looks like the mount is mounted to the ground.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Like somebody put their mount on the ground, but you can see a hole.
Yeah.
But geez, when I see things like that, surface fracture, that's not what I would think of when I think surface fracture, because the surface fracture that we saw up in the hills that was done by water last year.
Oh yeah.
That's what comes in my mind when I think surface fracture.
But Mother Nature should have killed that elk.
Yeah.
That elk should be dead.
And it was rescued, yeah?
Yeah.
I saw a video.
Which is okay.
I saw a video of some hunters pushing a bull elk out of a too deep rut, and it was very hypothermic. The elk was shaking pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
But they got it out, and I guess for a future kill, I guess. But that's another one where Mother Nature should have
done its job.
Yeah. And again, it's not to take away the nobility of those guys doing what they did, but at the same time,
it would be hard not to do the same thing.
I would agree.
It would be really hard to go, well, that's Mother Nature. See ya, buddy.
Yeah, we get
It'd be really hard.
we love our animals. So it's not that I would just want to walk away. That sounded horrible.
Right. That would be a really tough situation to come upon an elk like that and go, well, it'd be unsportsman to just shoot it there and take it home.
Yeah. So what I guess the argument against hunters is the being unethical, and there's plenty, all walks of all things have unethical players.
Sure.
But Mother Nature is about the most unethical.
Yeah.
So if it's not that bull in the hole, it's this really good looking, looks like a whitetail.
Yeah.
That was apparently scraping its antler on a tree and got stuck.
Yeah.
And slowly
starved to death.
Just
or broke its neck if it was lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
So check out that picture. That'll be on our
Yeah.
YouTube as well. So that's a
tough one.
And I think last year we showed how a tree fall killed animals.
Yeah.
And we've seen them die in other ways. The avalanche stuff.
And I know
when they die in an avalanche,
Yeah.
not an avalanche of snow, but the rock slide.
Yeah.
Dude, you know they didn't die right away.
Yeah.
That's awful. Awful way to go.
And if you're on the other side of hunting and you're against hunters, I get it. It probably sounds like we're just trying to justify how to feel better about what we're doing. No, it's not it at all in our perspective.
But it does. It does make me feel better about what I'm doing.
But it does.
Yeah.
So anyway, to each their own. Don't have to like it.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'm not a hunter. I don't know. Right now, I am. Have I ever been successful? No. So you got that one going for you. All right. But I just mean to be respectful about it. I have an edge against people I've never met.
Sure.
Because the rhetoric that gets out there.
Right.
So I'm trying to be pre-apologetic because I just want to be a decent human being.
Well, no, like you said, we've experienced it as we hiked around the Wood River Valley.
Yeah.
We've experienced it a little bit, and so it's Anyway, it's difficult.
Right.
It's difficult to address, but we're talking to hunters.
Yes,
real hunters that hunt with a bow.
Wait, you told me that you were posting this in those one forums with the non-hunters.
Yeah,
no,
only
anyway.
non-hunters go there.
All right, gear. Let's talk gear.
Yeah,
this is a really interesting concept. Now, I've toted around many a times a little. It's a little quad-footed chair, and it just it's a bit heavy, but it's tight enough you can just pack it up.
A place to sit,
but it doesn't have a back to rest on, so you have to put it near a tree and lean up against the tree or whatnot.
But a place to sit deep in the woods, someplace to go. That's why I bring the hammock.
Yeah, and there's other options out there, but there really hasn't been an option like this one where you're using your trekking poles.
Yeah.
To support the back of this chair, so it reduces the overall size. The weight is reduced because you're already having the poles anyway.
Yeah.
And so it
looks like almost a full-size camp chair, but you're only sacrificing the size and weight of a very small stool.
Yeah.
Because you already have the trekking poles.
And who's the company that does this?
Does it not say on there? Outdoors.com or something?
Just Trek Chair Get Out Gear maybe is what they're called.
Okay, Get Out.
Out gear. So that's cool. I'm intrigued. I want to see one of those in person and kind of.
I'm always looking for a little edge in the creature comfort zone when it comes to backpacking and hiking.
Yeah. Speaking of comforting when you're backpacking, having the right kind of bed pad.
Oh yeah,
is important. And
that was, So
when we stayed at the plateau, we got up there late. And you had a pad, and I didn't have a pad because I'm like, I was in a hurry, and I either forgot or I just didn't grab it because I'm like, I'll be fine. But there was snow up there, and not having something to put between your sleeping bag and your tent floor,
is dangerous.
1:30 in the morning, you're like, hey, bro, you okay? Because you can hear me shivering, and I can't sleep, and
I could hear you turning in your sleeping bag, and you were turning like you were mad at your sleeping bag.
I was getting angry. I was frustrated.
It was concerning.
So. You graciously cut half of your pad off for me.
Yeah.
And then the next night was more fun.
It was a world of difference, right?
Yeah.
You were asleep in minutes.
Yeah.
In minutes.
Just having that insulation between you and the ground. The next night we were at a lower elevation, and I was so tired that you heard gunshots, and we speculate that was some hunter walking through thinking that he was hearing a Sasquatch
or something. Yeah, because you hit your head hit the pillow and you were sawing logs, man.
It was
anyway.
So there's a buy one get one free for this product. It's a air-filled pad.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a big fan of air-filled pads.
Yeah.
Because air will seep out and deflate.
Yep.
And so I've seen these for a long time. I was curious at first, but I'm also a big guy, and I go, it looks like you would pack something to send through Amazon or through UPS. It looks more like a bubble wrap pack than it does a pad. Now, no offense to the company here or any of the companies that do it.
Right. But But if it inflates, it can deflate.
Yeah.
And if it can deflate, it will. So it's just a matter of time. And they do make like hand pumps. So they just have an attack, like the blood pressure cuff.
Yeah.
You just say, just you can pump it up a little bit. But I've been there trying to inflate a bed pad in the middle of the night. And what do you call it? What do you call it?
Geriatric device?
Hey, it is for me. Well, I mean, what do you call it? What is a sleeping pad?
Sleeping pad, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I'm trying to inflate because you can't sleep because it's cold and there's rocks.
Yeah.
And you lose just a little bit of air and you're getting poked and you're getting cold. And the problem is you lose a little bit of air and the place where you're heaviest starts touching the ground right away.
Yeah, and it's no bueno.
So yeah, that's to me an inflatable bed pad. God, no, sleeping pad. Is a sign of an amateur. That's all I'm saying.
I think there's one version of it that I'm okay with because I have one.
Right, you have to be.
But because I don't mind the big foam pads, but they're big. They're bulky. They're just hard to pack down. So I bought a pad that is air filled, but it's full of foam. And the foam can condense and be packed away, but it's that extra layer of insulation. So if the air does go out, and I really like the pad. It does.
Has the air gone out on you yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I always expected the air to go out.
Yeah. Okay.
But I wanted something that could be condensed down a little bit more. But it had foam in it, and it's that foam layer that adds that insulation value. So it's
right.
I haven't had any issues, no complaints really, except
staying warm.
Yeah.
Good.
So
yeah, that's all I want to say is inflatable. Sleeping pad. God, I want to say bed pad. And then it sounds like bedpan. And then your head just goes there, and I'm not sleeping on one of those. Okay.
Yeah. So just a couple to finish up here. The water. Utah Snowtell, current story water equivalent. We know that the Great Salt Lake has been in dire straits too. And I've been so focused on Powell and Meade that I didn't even think about the Great Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And it's been receding for years.
Yeah.
In fact, certain entities in Salt Lake have given back water shares to try to slow down that process. And the millions of acre feet of water was given back from the LDS Church.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. It's quite a bit. Like I don't remember the number, but I just doing the math and reading the article, I was like, geez, Louise.
Yeah.
Will that make a dent? I don't know.
As the snow came out of Ogden Canyon and I think another canyon a little bit further south in the Salt Lake Valley, they actually had roads in those cities, Salt Lake and Ogden, that were sandbagged up and straight rivers.
Wow.
They were 3 feet deep on the streets.
Wow.
In 1983.
Wow.
That year.
Makes me worried. I'll be in Salt Lake in a month.
Snowpack levels are higher now than they were in 83.
Jeez.
But again, it's how fast it melts.
Yeah.
If it melts nice and slow.
So if we have a cold April.
Watch out. Watch out, Utah.
Watch out, May.
Yeah, it's really gonna hurt. So we want to ease into that. Even if it stays cold until May, as long as it doesn't go 80 degrees in May.
Yeah.
Because that's what it did in 1983.
Yeah.
And
I can only imagine.
It was brutal. Yeah.
So hopefully all this snow will reflect some of that heat. Not sure how that works, but
well,
just knowing that the water situation extremely positive.
The pendulum has swung completely to the other side.
Yeah. At least for this weather.
And so there's a whole other group of things we can complain about.
Yeah. Archery elk is what?
The greatest outdoor sport in all of North America.
And when you do it, you can experience the intrinsic pricelessness of wild places.
That is it. What a beautiful line. The intrinsic pricelessness.
That's by John McClain.
Yeah.
And so John McClain is quoted here on this article.
He's the author of A River Runs Through It.
Yeah, he's got a few things out there, but A River Runs Through It, most known. And so intrinsic pricelessness.
Yeah.
That's
so well said.
Yes.
So well said.
And that's something that I elk hunt for, is that intrinsic pricelessness.
Yes.
It's not, it may be to many people's angst. Maybe it should be about the harvest, but for me, it's really not.
No, I think it's the same reason we gold prospect.
Yeah.
I just want to go into those wild places and I want to tell people I have a purpose, but really my purpose is
I was there.
the intrinsic
Pricelessness.
of wild places.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Fantastic to see what happens this year. I got 2 boys that are going to be hopefully because we got to make every meeting next week, and it's 3 hours a night.
Wow.
6 to 9.
Wow. Okay.
And so
Good.
I think
Good.
I think we'll be fine. It'll be a good litmus test of things to come.
Yeah.
And, have 2 more licensed bow hunters at the end
In
of
the
next
household. Wow. So many more unfilled tags. I am so excited for you.
week. Yeah.
People call it tag soup. Please don't call it tag soup, man. That is your contribution to conservation. And it is worth noting. Those tags should go in a plaque and hang on your wall because that is a far bigger contribution than so many millions of other people that enjoy our wild places. So much more of a contribution than they make. Yeah. And I don't see anything bad about Tag Soup. That is your contribution to conservation, and it is great, and we are grateful for every tag bought, filled or not.
Correct. Yeah. And on that's the end of the news.
Have so much fun next week. That's it. We're going to wrap it up. Have so much fun next week. I'm looking forward to your report of I almost want to go to Hunter's Ed again just because I like it, right? And I'm sure when Ozzy gets old enough, how old do you have to be?
10 is
10?
the
Okay.
age.
So when he's 10, I will definitely get him into hunter safety.
We had Draven in Hunter's Ed at 10. He did it, and Bram was 6, and he's like, I'm not doing that till I'm 11. Like, he didn't want to do it at 10.
Okay.
And now he's 12.
Okay.
So, and he brought that up, and he's like, I'm like, do you want to do this? He's like, yeah. He goes, I wasn't going to do it till I was 11. Now I'm 12. So I think I'm ready. I was like, okay, good. Let's do it. We got it.
Awesome. And he can enjoy the intrinsic pricelessness of wild places with us.
That's right.
All right.
Maybe more than the last time. He still wants his water bottle back. It's up at 10,000
I know where
feet.
it is. I know where it is. I know where I think it is. It might be washed out.
It might be.
But all right, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll have a water update.
Yep.
And whatever else we have.
Right on.
All right. Goodbye.
Cheers.